Hello and welcome to the SFCA podcast. Our goal is to inspire travel. We want to expose you to what Miami and South Florida has to offer. From Key Biscayne to Coconut Grove, South Beach to Calle Ocho and everywhere in between. Miami is a vibrant city and offers a wide array of popular attractions and venues. Come join us. All right, good morning and welcome everyone. If this is your first call, thank you for coming. Summer is officially over tomorrow and fall begins officially on Thursday, the 22nd. What a summer it has been. Record temps, hotels fared well. Fuel prices have spiked to all-time highs. What can we expect moving forward in the fall? We will soon find out. Inflation's up to 8.3%, ticking up from 8.2% in August. Fuel has decreased for 97 consecutive days. How's it affecting tourism? We're going to find out more information from Andrew in his presentation. Special recognition to all the sales teams and hotel managers and support staff that have joined us today. We truly appreciate your support. For all of you joining us for the first time, welcome. On this call, we're going to share facts, figures, stats in South Florida tourism. We also have some entertaining and informative facts that you will enjoy. How did summer hold up versus prior years? We're going to find out. How is Florida trending into the fall and winter seasons? We will find out. I want to ensure that everyone's familiar with the chat feature. You're welcome to ask questions of the panel via the chat or the Q&A feature. We also have merchandise. So we kind of like dangle a little carrot for you to make sure you stay till the end of the call. At the end of each presentation, for the most part, we are going to be giving away a dinner for two at the end of Andrew's presentation and a $50 gas card at the end of Ken's presentation as well. All you have to do to win is focus on the presentations, answer the question via the chat. The first one to answer the question right wins. If you do win, you cannot answer the next question and win again. You can only win once during the call, but you can certainly win as many times you like throughout the rest of the calls as well. You're not disqualified from any of the calls. I want to introduce a panel to you this morning. We have Andrew Wobensmith with the Greater Miami Convention and Visitors Bureau. We have Kenneth Linder of Voltage Concierge as our special guest, as well as Gabriel Martinez of the Brightline Group.
Morning.
Good morning. It looks like we're pacing just at about 67. So, Andrew, I'm going to turn it over. I'm sorry, Ken, I'm going to turn it over to you, and you can go ahead and get started with your presentation, and then we'll take Q&A after. Go ahead, Andrew. I'm sorry, Kenneth.
Thank you, Miguel. First, I want to thank everybody for inviting Voltage Concierge and myself to this call. Again, thank you, Miguel, and the South Florida Concierge Association. What I want to start with is Voltage Concierge and who we are. So Voltage Concierge, we're a Miami-based online concierge and global booking chauffeur portal, but we also are in 110 domestic and international locations. What our platform does is it enables and guarantees concierges and hospitality professionals to earn guaranteed commissions and ride bonuses when either they or their customers schedule and book luxury chauffeured ground transportation through our app, booking portal, email, or call center. I'm going to play about a 1 minute and 20-second video that will show everybody how it works and how hospitality professionals are guaranteed to earn their commissions when car service is scheduled and booked.
You are a hospitality professional who schedules ground transportation. You have to share the Volta Concierge app with your customers. Volta Concierge pays hospitality professionals like myself when my customers or I schedule premium car service. So here's how it works. If you're a travel agent, concierge, wedding planner, travel influencer, or work at a private airport, log in to voltaconcierge.com from your desktop or mobile device and click join. Then complete the sign-up form. After the sign-up form is complete, you will receive a link through text and email. Simply click the link and pair your bank account with the Volta wallet, and our software will send you a unique promo code. Include your promo code when you share the app. When the customers download the app, schedule a Volta, and apply your promo code, you will receive a commission on the premium service car ride. When you log into your dashboard, you'll find all your commission earnings right there. It's that simple. So register today and get paid One big ride in black on our worldwide platform. Ready, set, ride.
Okay, so what we've done in the challenge that we're trying to solve is when a concierge or hospitality professional receives a request for transportation, or it could be for make a reservation at a specific restaurant, let's say like Sexy Fish in Miami. A lot of times, sometimes the customer or your client, maybe they tip you, maybe they don't tip you. With our platform, once you sign up, you pair your wallet as it showed with our Volta. You pair your bank account with our Volta wallet, you're going to get a promo code. And when you book or your customer books a ride, and you can book a ride one of four ways. You can book a ride through our personalized booking portal, which I'll show you in a minute. You can share our mobile app with the guest and include your promo code, and they can book it. It's in the App Store, and it's also in the Android store for Google Play. You can book it through email at reservations@voltaconcierge.com, or you can call our concierge call center, which is open 24/7. Give the promo code. As soon as the ride is completed, one, the customer also automatically receives a discount when they book the ride or you book the ride with your promo code. Two, when the ride is done, it drops the affiliate commission into your wallet. The wallet then does a recurring deposit, direct deposit to the bank account that you paired it with. The first 25 rides, you get a $500 bonus, and every ride, you get a 10% affiliate commission. And you can choose from one of the 5 or 6 different vehicle types. You can choose from sedans, SUVs, sprinters, mini coaches, motor coaches, elite sedans. An elite sedan is a Rolls Royce or a Bentley. And these are all Voltas, and they're driven by licensed professional chauffeurs, not only in the South Florida market, but we're in 110 domestic and international locations. We actually are doing the Saudi family right now up in New York that came in from the UN. There's 30 vehicles a day that we're managing. I'll show you the booking portal. So once you sign up, you'll get this booking portal that you see here. These, for example, are all of the rides right now that one of the CSRs at the private airport booked. So you simply select new reservation from airport. Let's say we're going to go to the airport. And let's say the pickup date is going to be today, and you can book 30 minutes to 30 days in advance. So let's say we're going to book it at 11:15 this morning. Let's say the pickup hotel is going to be the one hotel in South Beach. We select that. Let's say they're going to be going to MIA, which is Miami International Airport. There's going to be, let's say, 4 passengers, and they have 4 luggage. We select the vehicle. Here you see the prices for the vehicle. Let's say they say we want to do a SUV, a Suburban. You simply select book. You don't have the flight details. Let's just say they don't need a return trip. We'll put a promo code in. Now you see the price right now is $220.50. Let's say Miguel signed up in his promo code. He's a concierge there. It's BM20 is his promo code. Let me just move this out of the way because this thing is in the way. Book now. Oh, it's because there are credit cards in there. So when we did this, when you select book now, this is a live reservation, 20% would be deducted from this, and Miguel would receive a 20% commission. That commission, the customer gets a actual discount, and 20%, which would be $42, would be then deposited into Miguel's Volta wallet, which then is direct deposited the following Friday. So every Friday you get your direct deposits. And this is one of 25 rides that Miguel gets. So the first 25 rides, Miguel will get $500 in addition to his affiliate commissions that he receives on every ride. So what we've done is we've actually kind of Uberized the Black Car Service platform, where you can have pretty quick licensed car service at your disposal 30 minutes to 30 days in advance. All of our vehicles and all of our partner vehicles are insured for $1 million. Buses are insured for 3 million. Motor coaches are 5 million. And again, we're not just in South Florida, we're all across Miami. That's how Volta Concierge works. And if anyone has any questions, I'm feel free to ask.
We do have one question from Jamie Gonzalez Valdez, and that question is 20% commission from the base rate or from the total rate?
It's 20% from the base rate.
Okay, so it's not 10%, it's 20%.
Yes, 20%.
And that's
sorry,
available.
It's my apologies. It's the 20% it's a 10% subsidy where you get a discount, and then the affiliate, which would be the concierge, gets 10%. So on that base rate, they would get $17.50.
Okay, so they're getting 10%, not 20.
Yes, and then the other 10% is passed on to the customer for a discount. So the ride is discounted 10%.
Okay, so being affiliated with the concierge or whoever the booker is, being professional, the end customer gets a 10% discount, compliment to whoever the booker is.
Yes.
And then the booker themselves get 10%, and that's paid every Friday via your direct deposit system.
Correct. And the way that they sign up is through our website, voltaconcierge.com. There's a button that says join. When you select the join, you just complete the online form. It's pretty simple. You put your information in. Within about 5 minutes, you'll receive a automated reply through email where you register your wallet, and you'll have your promo code, and then you can get set. And then we also send you a follow-up email where you'll get a booking portal. It will be your own personal booking portal that you can log in. So if the concierge wants to book the rides themselves, they can do that. If they want the guest to do it, they can share the app with the guest, or they can call reservations.
Okay. And then James from Canyon Ranch has a very good question. How do we get the driver information for the guest if we need it?
Yeah, fantastic. The way that you get that, as soon as the ride is booked, you get an email and you get a text. So you'll get an email with the chauffeur's name and number, as well as the make of the car and plate.
Great. And then Merlinda, I believe she's with a livery company. She wants to know how she can partner with you. I will share your contact information with you, Kenneth, and then you can reach out to her offline and figure out if you guys can.
Yeah, she can also do it on the website. If she goes to voltaconcierge.com, we have a tab that says chauffeur. You select chauffeur and you just fill out the online form, and we do we vet and do a check to make sure you have the proper, our software makes sure you have the proper insurance and licenses.
Excellent. And then, we're getting a lot of questions here. Adrian Girona asked a question. Do you cover tours as well?
Yes, we do.
Okay. And then are there seats for kids?
Yes, there are. Seats are extra. So seats are about $25 to $35 extra, depending upon the seat you want. If it's a booster seat, I believe that's $25. If it's a car seat, that's $35.
Okay, perfect. And then, Adrian, I don't know if you want to elaborate more. It says 4HTS. I don't know if that means for 4 hours, or I assume you're asking if it's 4-hour tour. Oh, hours. Okay, yes. So yeah. Is it the tours are like a 4-hour tour?
Yeah, well, yes. Great question. So you can book hourly. So if it's a sedan is a 2-hour minimum. If you're doing an SUV is a 4-hour minimum. If you're doing mini coaches, motor coaches, those are 5-hour minimums.
Cool. Okay. Great stuff. And you said you're available in 110 markets as well. So they can not only book Miami, they could book New York, Riyadh, Chicago, LA, anywhere. Absolutely. Anywhere that you're represented.
The dashboard that I showed you where you saw all those rides, those rides right now are going on in New York. So we have the UN summit. So we have the Saudi royal family in about 8 other countries. So all of those rides are being booked consistently right now. That's why Gracia is with our call center today, managing everything. So yes, you can do that.
Okay. And then Adrian asked, how can she partner? She's a tour guide. I would ask her to reach out directly to you, Kenneth. And yeah, I'll share.
Reach out directly to me. And again, she can go right to the website, voltaconcierge.com. You select join, you fill out your information, And then, of course, Miguel, if you want to share, my contact
Yeah, of course.
information on our office number and email, we'll be glad to help her out.
Yeah. All this will be shared with them. And then Lisa has a question regarding commission on the booster seats. Is it just base rate of the vehicle or is it additionals as well?
No, it would be on the flat rate, because what's going to happen is when you put the booster seat in, it's going to up the flat rate. So if it's a regular booster seat and it's $25, that flat rate goes from $175 to $200. So you're getting 10% on that $200.
Okay, so the answer is yes, you do get on the additional to the flat rate.
Absolutely.
Okay, and then lastly, I have a question, and it looks like the other questions are done, but if anybody has any other further question, you can. You have the standard gratuity, so you don't have an STC charge. I don't see charging for tolls, charging for parking. Does that apply as well?
Parking applies, and if of course if it's an airport pickup, so those would be additional charges. We can't put the charges in right away because we don't know how, if they're picking up from an airport and we have no clue how long it's going to take for them to get their check bags or whatever.
Okay. So that'll be an additional. And then do you have a surface transportation charge, better known as an STC in the industry, or no?
No, we don't do. The only time we do an STC charge is if our chauffeur affiliate partners have that, and then yes, that would be in there, but that's based on the chauffeur affiliate partner.
Okay. And then any fuel surcharge, considering the fuel is
Again, the fuel surcharge can be anywhere from $3.50 to $5, depending on the vehicle. And again, the fuel surcharges are passed off by our affiliates, our car service affiliates. Perfect. And we also have 13 cars in-house Volta, just so everybody knows.
Cool. All right, one last question, then I'm going to continue on with the next presentation. But if you have any more questions, by all means, keep filtering them through. I'll keep note of them, and I'll ask Kenneth at the end of the call. But the last question would be from Josel Velasquez at Aquilina. He wants to know what your cancellation policy is.
Cancellation policy on sedans, SUVs are 4 hours. Cancellation policies on sprinters, mini coaches, motor coaches, elite sedans. An elite sedan is a Rolls-Royce, Bentley equivalent, Maybach. Those are 24 hours.
Perfect. And then Jaime is another livery company. Kenneth is here in Miami, correct? You're based out of Miami, Kenneth?
Yes.
Yes. So Jaime, I'll put you two in connection and you can meet with him personally if you choose to. All right. We are moving on to the next presentation. Kenneth, thank you very much. I think you have topped the list of the most questions asked by our participants. So thank you very much for your in-depth information. Definitely sparked some interest among the group. If you want to go ahead and unshare your screen, I'm going to go ahead and turn it over to Gabriel. Let him queue up. And again, if anybody has any questions, any further questions, by all means, please send them to me in the chat. I will earmark them and we'll ask them at the end of the call. I will share all the presentation information with you at the end of the call, as well, the contact info for all of these presenters. And now, without further ado, I'm going to introduce you to the VP for Brightline. One side note. If anyone's seen trains in the United States, they are the most deplorable things I've ever seen on the face of God's earth. Europe, Asia, everywhere else has beautiful bullet trains. Finally, thank you to Brightline. We have modernized the train system. Amtrak, I hope you're listening. Let's get with it, guys. The trains are gorgeous. They're beautiful. They're brand new. I'm really giving you the. I'm setting up the stage for you.
Thank you so much. I feel like I don't need to present anymore.
No, you definitely need to present. Ladies and gentlemen, Gabriel from Brightline. Go ahead, Gabriel.
Thank you so much. And I take it you can see my screen and you can hear me fine.
I see everything, and we're ready to go.
All right. Thank you so much for the invitation, Miguel, to speak to the membership here. We are super excited to be members of the South Florida Concierge Association. In fact. What Miguel just mentioned is by design. It's not. It didn't just happen. We are a real company. We are a train company. In fact, we are owned by the old company that Mr. Henry Flagler himself started. But we have, other than the expertise in rail, we have brought a lot of hospitality know-how into the operation of the train. So now when it's not just about the trains, it's about the whole experience. So I'm sure that many of you have ridden the trains, but if you haven't, when you come into the stations, they're well lit, they're spacious, they're illuminated. You'll see a scent, you'll feel a scent, you'll hear the sounds. Very high ratio of staff to guests, and we treat our people as guests, not just as train riders. So there's a very it's a very different environment and experience when you get to our stations and when you board one of our trains, which again, to Miguel's point, is one of the things that we have to overcome as a service, as a product, is that people think about trains in the United States as one thing. We are very, very different, very much modeled after European luxury trains. So that is our sweet spot. We're trying to do something here where we're trying to connect cities where it's too short to fly, but too long to drive. All right, so at the moment, we have 3 stations currently in operation, and you can go starting at the north from West Palm to Fort Lauderdale to Miami, all in downtown areas, or backwards. You can go from Miami to Fort Lauderdale to West Palm. But the long-term dream is to connect South Florida to Central Florida, and that's coming very, very soon. Other than that, sooner than that, we are adding 2 new stations, one in Aventura and one in Boca Raton. So essentially, you'll be able to shop till you drop. You'll be able to dine. You'll be able to drink. You'll be able to go to beaches all along the South Florida corridor using our trains. The company is using an existing rail line that goes along the East Coast, and then we're building the last bit of track between Cocoa and Orlando International Airport. That construction is about 83% complete. We just announced this past weekend. We in fact just raised additional financing to keep building that line and the station. Not sure if you heard, but Orlando International inaugurated their Terminal C building where our station will sit. So from South Florida, where we are in downtown areas, the station in Orlando will be at the international airport. So because Orlando is a little bit of a different setup, we'll put people right at the airport. But here in South Florida, you get to downtown areas. And then eventually there are plans to expand the line past the airport into the convention center, into Disney area, and eventually onto Tampa. So also in the downtown area of Tampa. So a lot of stuff coming. As a service, we have very good ratings from users. So compared to these very well-known brands and very well-respected brands, we are right up there with many of them. The 2 main stations will be Miami and Orlando International. But again, there's all these stops that you can make along the way. But see, what we're trying to do is connect people by rail to areas where there's tons of points of interest and tons of connectivity in terms of mobility, because we know people are going somewhere else. So they're just getting to the station to get somewhere else. So for example, here in downtown Miami, you'll see we're right in the heart of downtown, but you can walk to Bayside, you can walk to the arena, you can walk to Wynwood, and then we're a short ride away from Little Havana. We can take you to Wynwood, we can take you to the beach, to South Beach, we can take you to Brickell. So there's different ways. And of course, you can connect to the Metro Rail. I don't know if you see my cursor, but this is the Metro Mover station right here. And of course, Government Center is right behind there. So you can connect to different forms of transportation from our station. Same in Fort Lauderdale. So you're right in the heart of downtown. You can walk to the Museum of Science and Discovery. You can walk to the Bonnet House, to Las Olas, but we can also take you to Las Olas, to the beach, to certain hotels, etc. Palm Beach, West Palm Beach is the same. We can take you to Palm Beach Island. We can take you to the convention center. So the stations are built to solve a friction, to solve a problem for your guests. It is when this picture was taken, we had 5 trains. Now we have 8 because there's 3 more train sets parked in Orlando International Airport. But it's basically a 2-class configuration. So We have what we call smart is what you would say it's like a coach class on a plane, and then premium is what would be a business class. Other than the configuration inside the car, which you'll see here, it's 4 seats per row in smart, 3 seats per row in premium. There are a couple of other things that make a difference. So in smart, there is food and drink for purchase on the train. And of course, you have access to all the facilities of the train, Wi-Fi, connectivity, all that. In premium, you have access to a private lounge. So it's a second gate that you have to check. And there is food and drink at the lounge included. And there's also food and drink on the train while you're riding the train. So other than the configuration and it being more spacious, the service is a little bit elevated from Smart as well. Again, we have worked really hard since our restart in November of last year to solve that friction of where are guests going? Other than arriving at our station, where else do we need to take them? So we developed this program called Brightline Plus, offering certain other options from the station to the endpoint. This service, or this part of the service, is constantly evolving and changing. So I don't want to spend too much time here because in a couple months, we're going to announce the new iteration of this service. But I do think that we will be very much focused on using these Sprinter type vans to provide fixed route shuttles to get people to certain areas of interest. And one thing that will be very useful, I'm sure, to you, is that we're going to develop fixed route shuttles between each station and their concomitant port and airport. So from West Palm Beach, you'll be able to get to the beach, to the port of Palm Beach and to PBI. From Fort Lauderdale, you'll be able to get to Port Everglades and to FLL. And from Miami Central, you'll be able to get to Port Miami or MIA. So again, I was once told that if you speak briefly, you get invited again. So I'm going to keep it short. It's more than just a train ride. And it is a different experience. It's not what your guests might be used to thinking about when they think about trains in the US. It's more, again, like a luxury train in Europe. But we're members of SFCA. We're very happy to be here. And we're here to listen, to engage you, to know what you need, and see if we can develop different ways to serve you and your guests so that you can sell our train. So Miguel, thank you so much for having me. Thanks you so much for the invitation.
Thank you, Gabriel. One question we have while you were speaking is, when will the Aventura station be open?
Aventura and Boca both will be ready by the end of the year.
Okay.
So you'll be able to shop
by the end of the calendar year.
Yeah, that's right.
Perfect. And I know Kenneth wants to reach out to you probably after the call. He wants to discuss
certainly.
Somehow partnering with you as well.
Certainly.
Okay. And then also, any other questions for Gabriel? Going once, going twice.
So we went from the most questions ever to the least.
No, not at all.
We're breaking records here.
Hold on. Stacy Wolf sent a question. His information will be shared. Stacy, I'm looking. Stacy, would you offer discounts for tour providers who may want to reach out to further markets to have guests take the train and then join their tour? This is from Stacy Wolf.
Yes. Reach out to me, and we're developing a more robust infrastructure to do that kind of thing. But yes, we can do some things right away. And in fact, so reach out to me, Miguel. You have my information.
Most definitely, and we'll share it with everyone as well. Mm-hmm. And now here come all the questions. When will Orlando be online?
That's a great question. We think we're about 12 months out. So the construction is about 83% complete, both the line and the station. Now, when the line is completed, there's a certification process that they call commissioning the trains that involves federal, state, local agencies. So that can take a few months. So I think we're very close to completing construction, and then that commissioning process will begin. So I expect that we will have your guests on those trains in about 12 months, going from South Florida to Central Florida.
Cool. And then another question from Joselle, your operational hours?
Great question. So the trains at the moment sleep in West Palm Beach. So they started around the 5 a.m. hour, and it takes about an hour to drive to ride all the way south to Miami. So the first train upward or northward is around 6 a.m. Now we do have, and they run up until midnight, thereabouts, because we have the ability. For example, we just renewed our partnership with the Miami Heat, and when there's games, we have the ability to flex the schedule a little bit to bring people back and forth a little bit later. So you can always check the most current schedules online, but it's between 5 a.m. and midnight.
Okay. And then we're follow up on the Orlando. They want to know tentative date about going to Orlando, Miami. You may have answered that. And
So I don't want to commit to a date at the moment, but
Okay.
let's think about in 12 months, you'll be able to have passengers riding those trains. Now, the thing is, much sooner than that, we will have pricing, ticketing, booking. So stay tuned, because you'll be able to start selling those trips much sooner than they start riding.
Okay. And then someone also asked, I think I already know the answer to this. Do you have liquor on board?
Great question. And yes, we do. And at the stations as well. So yeah,
Okay.
join us.
Cool. And then lastly, not lastly, is Brightline Plus added cost or part of the train fare? Brightline Plus is extra, correct?
There is an added cost. Yes.
Okay. Let's see. Do you know the average cost for the Orlando Miami route, or that's still to be determined?
No, we're still debating. And in fact, that's a great question. It'll be a broad range of pricing, because we have the ability to manage the yield and the revenue. And so, for example, the different operations will have different pricing. As the train fills, we'll have different pricing. If you catch a train at 11 p.m., we'll have a different price than if you catch the train at 9 a.m. So more to come on that, but yeah, it'll be a very broad range.
Okay, cool. I want to make sure I got to everyone's question. Did I overlook anyone? Oh, pets can be with you as well, right? They're not in storage.
That's right. Certain pets of up to a certain size can travel with you, and there's also a cost for that.
Okay. Anyone else? Did I miss anything? I'm going through my chats. See, you weren't the least.
Hey.
Tell you.
Well, thank you
Hold
so
on,
much.
Kenneth. Kenneth has a question. He has one. Go ahead, Kenneth. You want to answer it? Ask verbally.
Yep. Oh, verbally?
Yeah, go ahead.
Oh, I didn't know. I was like, you could hear me. Okay. How do when the customers get off of a train, how do they book? I see like your yellow Teslas, because we have a Tesla fleet. How do they book like the transportation when they want to go somewhere off the train?
So in the booking flow, and you all can book it as well for your guests, but in the booking flow, we'll offer you up additional transportation. If you're, how are you getting to the station? How are you getting to where you're going from the station? So there's an ability to pre-book that. Now, there's a couple things in the works that will offer more options. And again, what we have found and we have heard from our users, from our guests, is that the thing that may work the best is the fixed route shuttle. So you'll know that you get to the station, you will have booked the shuttle, but then you go, hey, I'm going to Port Miami. Oh, it's this shuttle, and then you just get on board and ride that shuttle with other people.
Okay, great. Yeah, and I definitely would like to talk to you offline.
Certainly.
Cool. Okay. As far as brand partnerships, special activations, partnership with hotels and tourism, Gabriel is the man.
Yeah.
I know we had a few questions for that. We will be sharing his information as well after this call, so you can reach out to him directly and either set up meetings or have any calls with have you. And Gabriel, you're here locally as well, correct?
That's correct. And we just moved to our brand new offices right above the Starbucks near the station. So we can always have coffee, Chick-fil-A.
There you go.
Other
Starbucks
options.
and Brightline. What
There
more
you
can
go.
you ask for in life? You're all
Thank
set.
you so much. And remember, the Polar Express is coming. So everybody got to write that one.
Excellent. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Okay, we're going to circle back to Kenneth. My apologies. He had a $50 gas card that we have not given out. And Kenneth, are you ready with your question?
Okay, and this has to be a question on the company, or can I make any question?
It could be any questions. If it's trivia, make sure it's simple trivia, not.
It's going to be simple trivia.
Okay, and then real quick before you answer the question, it should be a one answer. I'm going to lean on you for the answer because I don't even know what the question is. So you're going to be you're going to tell me the answer after everyone reports. And again, you're going to do that via the chat. So get ready on the chat feature. We are ready, Kenneth, whenever you are.
All right, I'm putting it in now.
No, you just answer the question. Ask the question verbally.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
Ask the question verbally, and then they'll respond via text or via chat.
No problem.
What is the question?
Who was the last quarterback to bring the Miami Dolphins to the Super Bowl?
Football question.
Well,
football question.
Football season.
Oh, whoa. Look at it. And they're all the same answers. Is it Dan Marino?
Yes, that is the answer.
Okay, and it looks like Jennifer. Jennifer, you are the winner. Congratulations, Jennifer. You get a $50 gas card. Reach out to me right after the call via the email, and we will send it to you electronically today. So congratulations, Jennifer. Thank you, everyone that responded. And great question. All right, we're going to move on to Andrew, the man with all the facts and figures. Andrew, you ready?
I'm ready.
Let's go. Give us some good news, Mr. Andrew.
Sure. Can you see my screen?
I see it perfectly.
Okay, great. Well, good morning, everybody. Great to be here. Thanks again, Miguel, for asking me to come back here and do this. And thank you to those of you that have reached out to me over the last year who have been on these calls, and some of you religiously. And it's great to run into you at some of our events. And I love the questions that you answer to me. And again, thank you. And I really enjoy doing this. So every month, for those of you that have been here, you know what I do. But for those of you that are new, I come up with what I believe to be the most relevant updates for tourism so that you get a good picture and a good holistic picture of what we see going on in the tourism industry, specifically for Miami-Dade. And from that, I think, I always try to tell a story because it is a story, and the way in which we get information is always story driven. But, understand that, I have one take on something and you may not have something, you may have a different take. So what I do is I provide all the sources where I get this information every month. So if you ever have any questions that we can't answer, you can always you'll get a copy of this presentation and you'll see that there's links where appropriate, where you can actually find more information on some of the topics I'm going to cover. So that said, similar to what I do every month, I cover things such as travel sentiment, I cover economics, I cover some of the things that are going on a macro level, as well as the things that we see going on right here in our market. And then from there, we try to give some predictions and some points of interest that you can follow up on. So that said, let's go into some of this sentiment. Okay, well, global consumer sentiment. This comes from Dynata. They did a big global consumer study, about 11,000 people they surveyed across the world. And basically what they're saying is the consumers are pessimistic right now. Honestly, about half of these consumers that they surveyed are very concerned that we're entering a recession, and that could be in their country as well as in here in the United States. 1 in 4 think their personal finances are going to worsen this year. So, this is probably not a surprise to anybody, particularly if you've been on these calls month after month. We know that some of this travel sentiment has been falling. Some of the stuff has been good, some of it has not been so good, but people are, they're concerned. They're concerned about finances, and we know that travel, when we spend money on travel, that is disposable income, and disposable income is simply what's left over after we pay the bills. So we can see that people are cutting consumption, they're changing behavior. People are spending less on movies, concerts, sports, leisure travel, dining out, clothing, and so forth. And a lot of people have become these bargain seekers, these discount seekers. I was having a conversation with a coworker this morning, and she was talking about her grocery shopping. And she says, if it doesn't say BOGO, then she's just going to keep on walking. So I thought that was kind of funny and interesting and very likely true for many of us. So we look here, we see about 2/3 of the people in the survey said they're seeking deals. Over half are saying that they're trying to reduce their energy consumption. Similar proportions say they're going to be cooking at home and even driving less. So there's definitely concerns out there about finances and where we think we're going to be in the upcoming future. Here's another study that I oftentimes share from Longwoods. They've been running this study for 2 years now, and this is just domestic traveler sentiment. The good news here is that the majority of travelers in this survey are saying that they're still going to travel in the next 6 months or so. So that's great. The concerns that they have about COVID have really just continued to fall. At this point, only 1 in 5 are saying that COVID is a concern for them for travel. So that's really great news. We're not really concerned about COVID some more. I think most of us have moved past this in most ways, and it's not really impacting their travel plans. So that said, 1 in 4 are saying that transportation costs, aka gasoline and airline and so forth, they are impacting their decision to travel in the next 6 months. However, this number has come down. It was at a high of 34% in July, and I think we know why. The gas prices really spiked. So gas price concerns are going down at this point in time. As we know, gas prices have also come down. However, these concerns, they're still here, and I don't think that they're likely to go away anytime soon. Half of the travelers they surveyed said gas prices are impacting their decision to travel. So very important to note that these gas prices are directly related to what people say they're going to do. Travelers are adjusting their plans in response to these concerns. About 1/3 said that they're just choosing destinations that are closer to home. Almost as many said they're going to reduce the number of trips, and other ones are saying they're going to reduce the amount of money that they're spending on their trips, which would include entertainment, food, and so forth. So let's talk about gas prices. I have some information here on gas prices I think it's actually really interesting, because a lot of the questions I get asked, one question that's been asked a couple of times is, well, these gas prices are falling, and why are they falling? And so some of you may know this, some of you may not know this, but there's a number of reasons why that they're falling, and not all good, to be honest with you. So this information, it comes from AAA, from a recent posting that they did. They're talking about these falling gas prices. What it really comes down to is that people are changing their driving habits to cope with these higher pump prices. So really what this is demand driven. Okay, really primarily driven by the fact that people are driving less than they have been in the past. So this demand has decreased for gasoline quite a bit. As a result, we see these prices going down. And this bottom paragraph, which I've just kind of highlighted some of this stuff here, is that it's down in terms of the consumption of oil, down 15% year over year. And I was searching for some of these stats. I listened to a couple of podcasts, and some of them were saying we're down 9%, 11%. And according to this, we are down 15%. And basically, this level is in line with what we saw at the end of July 2020, just to give you a sense of where people are saying they have cut back on driving and cut back on demand. So this is, while it's great that we see lowering prices, it's not so great to understand why it is that they're lowering. AAA also published a couple other studies. They did a survey in March, and then they did a follow-up survey in July. And they said, hey, they asked people about these pump prices, and they were asking people what would they do when the price would get to a certain gallon, right? So 59% said they would change their driving habits or lifestyle if the cost went to $4 a gallon. But they said if gas were to reach $5 a gallon, which as we know it did this summer, 3/4 of these people said they would have to adjust their lifestyle in some way to offset this cost. So at that time, they said that 80% said they would just opt to drive less. So the follow-up survey in July asked them the same questions. And yes, in fact, a lot of these people had made these types of changes. And of those people, 2/3 said that they have made some type of a change. Of those people, 88% said they drove less. 3 out of 4 said that they combined errands. Some of them reduced shopping or dining out. Delayed major purchases. I kind of thought this was interesting, because here we're talking about gas prices going up, and almost 1 in 3 of these drivers said that they would delay their major purchases as a result. So I think that's going to sort of link to how they feel about finances as a whole. So moving on here, I look at travel search activity. We look at a couple different sources of information. I think that travel search activity is great when we're trying to understand, are we, where are we at? Are we in the top of mind for consumers? Where are people saying that they want to travel? So we have a couple sources that we can look at. Kayak.com here on the left-hand side. They give the percent change week, every week for what it was in 2019, the same week. So in this way, we have a baseline of pre-pandemic, and then we have what we see going on now. And this was a little concerning to me because when we look at these top domestic markets in the United States, well, the good news is that Miami is one of the least impacted. It looks like so many of these other markets out there are really seeing a decrease in terms of search activity on kayak.com. So kayak.com doesn't tell the whole picture, but I think it's a good indicator, and it has been a good indicator. I've been watching this for a while, and it looks to me like there are some struggling out there. Why that is, it could certainly be financial. We don't really know, but the good news is that we're actually up towards the top and relatively unimpacted. To the right here, this is an aggregator that takes searches on a number of different travel websites, and then they look and say, okay, in terms of Miami, searches for Miami, what does this split look like from a regional perspective? And they show here that almost half of these searches were coming from the United States, but almost half are coming from somewhere outside the United States. And interestingly enough, looking at the searches from June through August, the number one international market is Spain, looking for travel into the United States, which I thought was interesting, followed by Colombia, Germany, Brazil, Mexico, and so forth. You can go down the list here. So, there are certainly a lot of interest in coming to Miami, and it's interesting to know that where do we think this business is going to come from overseas? Well, based on this information, it looks like we are really high in terms of consideration, looking at Spain, Colombia, Germany, and Brazil. Now, some of you may be sick of me talking about these daily demand indexes, but I love them. I'm addicted to these numbers. I may stop sharing these things, but really what I share here every month are these 4 indicators that I watch the most. We get daily data on most of these things. So when I put this data into Excel and then post it into an online platform, we can look and see how well we're doing every single day from where we were at in 2019. And this way, we've had a good way to gauge our recovery ever since the start of the pandemic. And the good news here, these 4 indicators, they're almost like the 4 arteries to our tourism heart, right? So looking at air travel, looking at the number of hotel rooms sold, looking at what this volume of in-house seated diners looks like, and the number of passengers coming through Port Miami here. We can see in this table on the top to the right, that column shows us on this index where 100 would be on par with 2019, that we're actually leading this year over 2019 in every one of these metrics. And that's really great news. And for comparative purposes, that column to the left is where we were at a year ago looking at 2019. So we have made progress. Last year, we had really picked up well, although at this time last year, there were some issues around the Omicron variant of COVID, and we did see some slowdown because of that. But the good news there, and particularly down there, that last line, cruise, looking at a year ago, as we know, cruise was really just sort of inching along, really far below 2019. But if you look to the right here, we have seen an awful lot of pickup with the cruise, and these different metrics are put out there on this line chart at the bottom, and you see that for all these dotted lines, that indicates how much higher we were at each given day versus 2019. You can see here that particularly down at the bottom with cruise has picked up, and by summertime, we were really approaching the volumes that we had saw in 2019, which by the way was a record year. So that's really great news and encouraging to know that these indicators are really running strong. Looking at Miami International Airport, we look at the weekly international arrivals, and that turquoise line to the left is what it was in 2019. The blue to the right is what it was in this present in 2022. And what's really great news is that we are now starting to see evening out in terms of international arrivals. To the far right here, we've actually started to exceed the volume of weekly international arrivals at MIA versus what it was in 2019. So really great news. You probably picked that up from the previous slide, but this sort of shows definitively that this volume is really returning back to normal. Looking in terms of what those international arrivals look like from a market perspective, I've made 2 comparisons here. I've said, okay, these international arrivals, what does that look like coming into MIA? But also, we can look at the total country, USA, and look at the volume and the percent change of those visitors to the United States to give us sort of a proportional difference of how well are we doing versus the United States. Now, we've been doing really, really well, in case you didn't know, in terms of international. We have had, Miami and Florida in general have been breaking records, and last year was a great year for tourism. So we've had international visitation throughout this entire time. Places like Colombia and Mexico were always coming here. But the good news here is that we are seeing quite a bit of improvement. It looks like even in some of these areas like Argentina, in terms of coming through MIA, Brazil, Colombia is down a little bit, but not surprising. But some of these other markets, these European markets that we anticipated coming back, are coming back. Taking a moment to look at our hotel occupancy, ADR, and RevPAR, the most recent data I have here, looking at the county, looking at our subsegments of the county, as well as our neighbors to the north and south. Occupancy down a little bit versus 19, but that's really not a bad thing. Last year we're up. If you look over here, that second set of columns, the average daily rate. Good news there is actually we've been up. We are certainly up big time since 19, but also even since last year. And that's really good news, because last year, going into this year, we've had record rates. So now we're starting to wrap around to a year ago, and we're seeing that our rates are still really, generally speaking, holding up really well. So one of the questions I've been asked a lot, and that I ask myself quite honestly, and I even asked to our other DMO friends to the north and south, is, we see this volume of tourism in Miami doing really well, but how are we being affected by this, and I'm just going to call it a recession. I'm sorry, some people out there don't want to call it that. We have a recession going on, and as a result, some areas, as we see, might be suffering, but here in Miami, we do not see that. We have not seen that. Everything has been going along really strong. As you saw before, the volume of people coming in through these different areas the volume is great. So the question I ask myself is, could it be the luxury traveler that's coming here? And we know that we always have a class of people here that are luxury travelers, and they don't really care so much about the money that they spend. They just want to stay where they want to stay, and they want to do what they want to do. So what I've done is I've looked at the hotel performance by class of hotel. At the top, the luxury class. At the bottom, really going towards budget. We can see here that if you go towards the middle, percent change, in terms of percent change, the ADR, the average daily rate for luxury, is up, way up, in terms of what that looks like versus 2019. Looking at, although all these classes are up, it's that luxury traveler segment that seems to be the strongest. Looking at ADR, up 47% from 2019. And that equates into, if you look to the far right, the last three columns, the average daily rate for luxury is up almost $200 for year to date versus what it was in 2019. So again, it does speak to our destination's resilience, but also the luxury traveler. So that was one thing that came to mind. But the other thought is, well, things have become really expensive. Not everybody that comes here is a luxury traveler. So what about those people that are coming here that are not? What is it, if anything, is different about them? We saw some of this other survey data that people could be spending less. So that was my thought. Let's dig into this a little bit more. So we survey our visitors. We have boots on the ground all across the county. We have people in MIA asking questions. We even have people in the Fort Lauderdale airport asking questions. And one of the questions that we ask are, where are you staying? So we survey our visitors. And interestingly enough, what we see here, a pattern that I found that I did not expect to find, was when we ask people where they're staying, they mentioned hotel, Airbnb, and so forth. We see a really big increase in people saying they're staying with relatives. And so what I've done is I've broken that out in those two line charts at the bottom, looking at what it was last year through July, and then this year. That green line is showing that the number of people we spoke with staying with relatives has been really high. Matter of fact, in January, if you can look at that, at the table, actually just as many people we spoke with who said they were staying in a hotel said that they were staying with relatives. So I guess really when it comes down to looking for places to go, maybe people are saying, hey, I can't necessarily afford the destination, maybe staying and lodging, but if I stay with my grandma in Coral Gables, then I'll be able to go out and do those other things. So looking at the demand, looking at the business that's on the books in our hotels and Airbnb, we're tracking that reserved occupancy, what it is this time versus what it was last year. And we can see that these two bar charts, hotel on the top, Airbnb in the bottom, and then those dotted lines represent what it was a year ago, and then the solid bars indicate what it is going on now. And the good news here is that the demand, the business on the books is still greater than it was last year. And so this 90-day picture is telling me that we are either equal or greater in terms of that overall pace of booking than we were a year ago. So I shared this last month, but you'll have this again. This is just simply our hotel performance forecast that comes from STR. Takeaway here is that the demand is still anticipated to be relatively strong into next year, and certainly not too bad. But the rates are going to start to go down, and that's not unexpected. I think we all expect to see that, but the rates going down is really in comparison to 2022 and 21. So this may be helpful to some of you if you're planning your forecast for the next year. Almost finally here, leisure and hospitality employment. I wanted to point out the recovery because it's not just from a hotel or air perspective, it's are we getting more people back to work here? And so the news here is, while in terms of leisure and hospitality jobs in Miami-Dade, we have been improving, but we're still down. We're still down from 2019. The state of Florida is actually met and exceeded. They're actually above 2019. But for us, we are still lagging. And what concerns me is that we actually should not be back to 2019, in my opinion. We should be above 2019 because we've added about 10% more hotel inventory. So we are going to continue to watch that. But for now, it doesn't look like we're making a lot of progress. We're not too far behind, but we're definitely not where we were. So in summary, we think tourism is performing very well, hasn't skipped a beat. We think the 90-day outlook looks good. We also know that economic concerns are global. Everybody has these concerns for the most part. They're adjusting to spending, but many travelers are still saying they're going to travel. Luxury travel does not appear to be deterred in any way. Search activity, though, as I've mentioned to you, still looks okay for us, but other destinations are not getting that. So I'm going to watch that metric because that could be a precursor to some slowdown. And again, if anything happens, we'll certainly share this next month. Our hotel forecast, as I mentioned, they're saying, yep, we have an eventual decline in room rates, but we expected that. Modest demand growth is forecasted next year. And finally, as I just mentioned, we do know that leisure and hospitality employment in Florida overall is thriving. We are still lagging a little bit, and I certainly hope that we're going to see more improvement in the coming months. So that's it, folks. Thank you for listening. And if you stayed on this long, you'll get a nice gift as a result. I appreciate you listening.
Thank you, Andrew. We have a few questions while you were doing the presentation. We have from Grace Duncan. What do you think of business travel for 2023? I know you shared the stats overall. Do you expect more attendance for conventions and conferences in 2023?
We do. Well, I don't have any specific numbers to give to you at this time. I do know that we are seeing quite an uptick in terms of business and, business being booked. Certainly if you want to contact me afterwards, I could probably get you some more information, but the short answer is yes. We do see that coming back.
Excellent. Thank you for the question, Grace. You're more than welcome to speak to Andrew offline directly. And then Natalie Orr has a question. Could the increase in travel staying with relatives be due to international mix, i.e. in the experience of Colombian travelers tend to be a little cautious with spending habits?
Absolutely. And I could certainly dig into that a little bit more. What I gave to you was on an overall level versus domestic and international. But yeah, I would say that definitely we've always seen this anyway. We do know that there's a lot of people that come here and they're going to come here, they're going to stay with friends and family. But in this case, this is just obviously quite a bit higher than it was in the past, but certainly could be true. Cool.
Excellent. We've got many thank yous and a big thank you from me, Andrew. You've been the wealth of knowledge in this call. And you also come with some great prizes. Are you ready for your question?
Yeah, I'm ready. Are people ready?
Okay. So for those ready, you're going to answer via the chat. First one that gets the answer correct wins. And on the table this time, in honor of Miami Spice, it's about to end in about 11 days or so. We are giving you a dinner for two. Now, it's $150 credit for dinner for two. So if you want to add a little alcohol, you can too as well. The way it'll work is once we find out who the winning person is, we will immediately either Zelle or Cash App you the $150 by the end of business day today, and you can enjoy it as you wish. Andrew, give us a question.
It's really simple, but I guess the first person who is the fastest with their keyboard will win. I mentioned 5 classes of hotels. If you're a hotelier, you've got this, but what was that top class called?
Top class. Ooh. Okay, let me go back to the beginning. Let's see. Luxury.
You got it.
Luxury. So Hector Pachon. Hector Pachon, you are a winner.
And what was the ADR?
I should have made it harder than that.
Yeah.
Next time you'll make it harder. Hector, congratulations. If you want to reach out to me so I can give you the information. Let me see. We still have everybody. Well, look, and they're answering it as well. Almost 200, 195. Look at that. Good for them. I think this Monday call is better. Everybody's energized and ready to do their thing. So,
Miami Spice perks people up too.
Oh yeah. Who wouldn't want to do the Miami Spice? Everybody loves to eat. At least I do. I speak for myself. I got to stop eating less. That's what I have to do. Well, thank you very much to everyone on board. Congrats to our winners, Jennifer, as well as Hector. Thank you to our panelists. Once again, Andrew. Regrettably, Cecily couldn't join us, but Kenneth was here from Voltage Concierge, Gabriel from Brightline. Again, it's easy to make a buck. It's tougher to make a difference. Let's strive to make a difference in the lives of others. Let's be part of the solution, not part of the problems. Make strives to perform random acts of kindness. Make a difference in someone else's life. It'll come back to you in a positive way. I promise. Don't forget to subscribe to our newsletter, The Maestro, as well as In the Know. Watch us on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. We will be sharing all the information of this call by the end of day. So Andrew's deck, as well as a presentation from Kenneth and Gabriel, will be shared by the end of day. And then within 72 hours, ideally by Friday, if not sooner, you'll have both the YouTube recording as well as the audio recording. So if you want to go back and pay attention. Until then, thank you, everyone, and make it an amazing day, amazing week. And until next time, our next call will be in October, and October is going to be different. I'm not going to give away too much, but we're going to be monkeying around, and we will actually be live on site somewhere in South Florida. Until then, thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Have a great day. Thank you, Andrew. Thank you, Gabriel. Thank you,
week.
Kenneth. Thank you, everyone. God bless and take care. Bye-bye. Our goal is to inspire travel. We want to expose you to what Miami and South Florida has to offer. From Key Biscayne to Coconut Grove, South Beach to Calle Ocho, and everywhere in between. Miami's a vibrant city and offers a wide array of popular attractions and venues. Come join us.